Thank you for listening to the Failing Writers podcast. Please set your seats to a reclined position, extinguish all hope, and prepare your ears for turbulence.
So, fellas, it's a good time to ask what have we been writing this week, because obviously we actually have meant to have been writing for the NANOWRIMO. Well, we kind of already know because we have talked about this. So, Dave, you may as well go first.
All right.
I'm not sure me and John have got that much to offer.
Did you notice that I'd gone silent? Is that why you asked Dave?
I think we know where me and you are at, John. So let's see.
All right. Well, let's start with something. I've written quite a bit. I just done a double check, and I've done about 5,000 words.
What did I say, Tom? What did I
don't know
say?
Dave's an arsehole, and I wish he was never on the. Oh right, no. So about the writing, I'm
not saying any of them are any
well
good.
Well done, Dave. That's brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
But yeah, so I'm like a 10th. Actually, if you think about it, I'm 5,000 words into 50,000, and we're 3 days into 30 days of November.
Hang on, you're 5,000 words in.
So I'm like a 10th of the way through, both in days and words.
Yeah, that's right. So
that's maths. That's actual maths.
That's amazing.
It's not actually as impressive as it sounds, John. It's only impressive when you compare it to our effort, and it seems like a lot. He's actually on target.
I think it's pretty impressive either way.
Yeah.
But
Dave, you've come in. You've got a bit of a problem with your story, haven't you? In that you've fallen madly in love with your main character.
I have.
And have neglected to put anything else onto all the other characters. Just kind of like cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I forgot to give them names or basic character traits. It's just a one-person book at the minute. It's just about the main character, who I absolutely love. But to the rest of it, they're just sacks of meat.
Like these two-dimensional,
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you love about the character? What is it about the character?
I don't know. I just think she's sort of her main sort of character trait, her main sort of character flaw, really, is that she can't stop herself. If she thinks of something funny that she thinks is funny, she has to say it.
I hear you. I hear that. That character's resonating.
Yeah, and I kind of like I sometimes wish I could be a bit more like that rather than sort of self-censoring. She just sort of comes out and says it and regrets it quite a lot later on. But yeah, she's become a sort of 3D character, and this hasn't really happened before. I'm quite excited by it, so I'm trying to get as much down as I can whilst it's coming.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What about you, John? John?
Have you even said any words?
I've said quite a lot of words.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. I've said loads of words, but I haven't written any of them down.
Oh.
But yeah. Anyway, less about me. What about you, Tom?
Less about me. Also, no. I've had a very busy couple of days that have just kind of sprung out of nowhere, and I kind of had planned. And the other thing is, I think I might have. Dave's fallen in love with his character in his book. I think I might have fallen out of love with my storyline in my book. And the book as a whole, I thought because it had been...
The book as a whole?
Yeah, I think because it had been kind of percolating away for 15 years or whatever, that I thought, finally, I get it done. Whereas I think maybe the reason I never actually have got it done is because I no longer really fully believe. I think I might need to give it a full rework, which is bad timing, isn't it, for that? So I'm half thinking...
Well, isn't it a great job that you had one as a backup?
Yeah, so I'm half thinking I'm going to swap... swap
the Blue
horses
Peter book.
Halfway through the... Yeah, it is. I'm going to pull the other plan from underneath the desk.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one I did earlier.
Here's another novel I haven't written earlier.
Yeah. But you've planned what? You planned like half of that? Or something?
I mean, half would be generous, but there's something, there's enough there to kind of go, right, I'll crack on with this and we'll actually get some words down. So I think that's the way.
And do you feel a bit more excited now you're doing that book?
Yeah, I think because the other one I just felt like I feel a bit stuck with it. I think I probably need to really start the other one from scratch so I can kind of go with the flow. Like Dave was saying, when you need to be doing it every day, don't you? You need to be. You can't leave massive gaps between. Which I think I've always known, but I've never been willing to admit to myself.
Yeah,
they're kind of.
Yeah, well, I think I've been quite lucky and unlucky in the sense that I haven't got anything else to do at the minute. suddenly got no other work, so I've just been.
That's
writing
good use of time.
Yeah, time. Yeah.
It does make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
Oh, well, that's brilliant, Birdie.
Yeah, well done, Dave. Well done. Well, hopefully next week, we'll ask the same question, and we'll have, at least me and John will have different answers.
I might have to shift NaNoWRIMO wholesale to December because I don't think I'm going to write much more than about 1,000 words in the entire month.
Yeah, there's always loads of time in December, isn't there? There's never anything really going on.
Not much going on there.
Can't think.
Yeah, there's nothing else that happens.
There's not like big festivals or anything. Or
no,
there's nothing.
That's true.
No pagan celebrations. So John's doing Dano Demo Dymo just to be different.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you start your own website, John, and constantly bombard people with spam emails?
Oh my God! Why won't they shut up?
I don't know. They do send a lot of emails, don't they?
2 a day, I'm sure.
And I'm not entirely sure what.
I didn't sign up for this. But I literally did sign up for it, didn't I? That's the problem.
I feel like I've been caught in the middle of an email-based comic relief telethon or something.
Well, they kept hitting targets and stuff, didn't they? Saying, we've raised more than we thought we were going to.
Yeah, well done, NaNoWRIMO. I've written 67 words.
Hey, Dave, I've just remembered something. You sent us a link to a name generator or something.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, so 1st of November, I went to start NaNoWRIMO, and it turned out to be an inset day. So kids at home couldn't do anything. So on the second day, I thought, right, I need to do twice as much. And that was when I realised that I hadn't fleshed out any of the characters. I had a whole story there, but no characters. Just they were like policeman 1, policewoman. So,
I see. Yeah, so they were there. There were other people in the story, but they didn't have any names.
Just cardboard cutouts.
You just had an entire cast of the people that get mentioned right at the end of the film credits.
Exactly, yeah.
Small boy number
Man
1.
putting on hat.
Yeah, I love that. I always love those.
I actually had the role of policeman taking off hat in an episode of Fat Friends.
Oh, really?
Once.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I didn't get much money for it, and it didn't really lead anywhere in the acting world, but, it was a start. But anyway, so I didn't have any names for anyone, and I sort of thought, I need a name. I can't just keep calling my main character policewoman.
Did you just make up a name for them?
I tried, but I kept thinking, that's not right. No, that's not right. And then...
What kind of names were you coming up with?
Just like, Mary, Susan. So I was just taking me forever, and I thought, this is ridiculous. I've spent an hour just trying to come up with a name, and then I found this random name generator thing on the internet, which I linked to on Twitter, I think, and it's brilliant. It just takes all that stress away. You put some details in, put some variables in, like age and gender and sort of job role and other little things, and it pops out a load of names for you to choose from. So I just did that. I did that for all of the characters that I'd got. They've all got names now. I've written them on a board, so I don't have to spend any more time.
What sort of names have they got then? What name has Policeman 2 got or whatever then?
So
Badger Forecourt.
The 2 detectives is Bobby Brown and Justin Webb. 2 of the detectives.
You're calling one of them Bobby Brown?
I'm calling one Bobby Brown, yeah. Well,
is that because you put the job in? It went, policeman, Bobby? This isn't a random name generator. This is just someone having a laugh at your expense, Dave.
Oh, dear. There is some bloke on the end of that, isn't there, on the internet somewhere.
Hang on,
just quickly typing them in and giggling to himself.
Dave's got to change. Bobby
Brown.
Bobby
What's
Brown.
your name? Bobby Brown. Are you sure?
So there's Detective Bobby Brown, WPC Jazzy Jeff.
Oh dear. Oh, that hurts a bit.
But the thing was, it sort of popped out a load of names, and I thought I'd make it even more random.
I know, I'll pick the worst one. Let's give me a good one, but I want the rubbish one.
Well, I just sort of took the front of one suggestion, so it didn't. I don't think it actually said Bobby Brown. It said like Bobby Pierce and someone Brown. I thought, Bobby Brown, that'll do, because one of them's called Colin Chubb, which is one of my favourites. So...
he's not called that, though, is he? He's called the policeman formerly known as Colin Chubb.
Yeah.
He's just got like a weird symbol for his name.
Some people call him Chubby Brown as well.
That sounds good, though. Definitely get on the random name.
It takes the stress out of it. So Ruby Miller is the name of my main
Baker?
character.
Is she a baker
Oh,
or
nice.
a fariner making flour?
So yeah, that's. Look, it was useful. It stops me from procrastinating.
Yeah.
And,
You can always
that's
change
true.
them at the end anyway. It doesn't really make much.
Exactly. That was
There
what
you go.
the point is. It's not set in stone.
No.
No.
But it's just stopped me from
This is
spending
where
any
you're
more
writing,
time.
Dave, and one of the comedy things is someone taking the mick out there, and Bobby Brown. And then you forget that, and then you change it to something else, and that joke just becomes really weird.
Well, I did think of a Whitney Houston joke earlier on today, and then I had that exact thought. I might not stick with Bobby Brown, so that's not going to work, is it?
That's good. I'm going to try it. I'm intrigued now.
Wow.
So yeah, look on name-generator.org.uk.
Brilliant. Giving that a go.
There are lots of different options. Name-generator.org.uk.
Anyway, shall we move on?
Yes.
Yes.
Should we do this episode?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
What's happening?
Great idea.
What's happening?
Great
What are we
idea.
doing?
Well, we've written some poetry, and our resident poet, we've decided now, Kate Fox, is going to tell us how it is.
Yes, she's going to judge us and judge our poetry and just tell us about ourselves in no uncertain terms.
Like Lloyd Grossman used to do on the old MasterChef. She's going to
Yeah.
cogitate. What was it he said? Cogitate and...
Ruminate, cogitate, and digest.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. That's what she'll be doing.
And then she's going to invent her own range of pasta sauces.
Of course, Lloyd Grossman, that's not his real name. He got it from Name Generator.
Do you know what, lads? Though I'm feeling quietly confident about my poem.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a powerful little piece, and I think you're going to like it.
Well,
So.
Is it full of fancy language and flowery
No,
bits?
it's not really.
isn't that what? That's what a poem is, isn't it?
Well,
Oh, Dave's is full of flowery language and fancy bits.
well, let's see, shall we?
Let's find out what
Yeah.
Kate thought of them.
Absolutely. Bring it on. So, Kate, it's time for you to help destroy our fragile egos.
Excellent. I've been greatly looking forward to this.
Wow, so there is actually a real undertone of mirth and anticipation in your voice there. That's slightly
Glee,
worrying.
even.
Disturbing, isn't
Well,
it?
I'm
bit.
torn though, because so often I do work with writers in workshops, and the whole thing is very much not about destroying their writing egos. It's about nurturing them, bolstering them, making them feel good, even if some of what they've written is not very good, trying to point out the good and where it could be better. And I
She's
feel
talking about you, Dave.
Do you do any work with children, Kate? Because I feel
I
this could be
do.
there we go. All right, you should be used to this then.
Has anyone ever cried at your feedback?
Do you know, actually, now, not poetry feedback because I'm so lovely to them generally, but I once did a project where I was getting kids in a school in Bishop Auckland to write for radio, actually, and to write radio news bulletins and radio adverts. And because at the time I was still not that long out of being a radio journalist, it turned out something about hearing really badly written radio made me give feedback that I would have been given when I worked in radio, if you know what I mean. And
Yes.
yeah, and some of the kids, honestly,
But those 3-year-olds really weren't ready for it, were they?
They learnt a life lesson that day.
They did.
one of the teachers did say, after looking a bit shell-shocked, he was like, wow, we are just never that honest with them. And I don't think I was ever as honest again, actually, to children in the school.
That's because you never got asked back, isn't it?
Exactly, good point. I'm on a banned list. Radical honesty for students. But generally, I am lovely. But I feel you have given me a little bit of leeway to be a little bit more honest than I normally would be. However, I am aware you have all expressed varying degrees, I'm hearing it, of fear and trepidation. So I am probably going to respond to that with kindness.
You just need to be honest. Okay, that's all we ask.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
all we
right.
ask.
We're prepared for tears.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And I think John should go first.
Well, we should first remind everyone that we wrote these in our Writer's Hour Zoom call thing, didn't we? And we for a competition where we had to write a trivison, which is basically 6 sentences, and each sentence is a 3-line stanza. And that's what we had to do. That was where we started from, wasn't it?
That's it. Exactly. Mine's not very funny. I'm sorry, guys.
There's nothing funny about poetry, John. This is a serious business.
Exactly. It was. On the back of Kate saying something that matters to you, and at the time, I'd lost a couple of people I know to cancer quite recently after that, or just before we did that, and I couldn't stop thinking about the effect it must have had on that family. Or those families. Right. But I think because it was a trivison as well, and I was thinking particularly about a family of 3 that went from a family of 3 to a family of 2, and I was thinking about the 3s.
Did you say at the start this is not very funny?
But I'm just trying to give a sort of vague explanation for why I went so dark so quickly.
I'm going to say just not funny.
No, it was not funny at all.
Yeah, that's better.
It was quite heartfelt. Anyway, so this is what came out. It's called Dark Spots. There were 3 toast-warm souls that filled that house, with ringing gingham laughter, honey light spreading over the butter dish, the breakfast things abandoned. There will be time for clearing up. The cat sits, sniffs by the back door, unsettled, fur ruffled by the arrival of a new cold front. Now, 2 voices, hushed and cotton soft, tremble in the hallway, as though the quiet can stop the clock, or prevent the appearance of the dark spots that have begun to blot the patio slabs and the scans of her body. The all-pervading sense of time playing tricks, of an ending that is much too sudden.
Oh, thank you, John.
You're very welcome. So I should probably say the last stanza probably doesn't work quite as well in audio, but I wanted to get a sense of something missing at the end. So there's only 2 lines at the end instead of 3.
Exactly. And actually,
subverting the form.
Indeed, subverting the form. And I want to say, because I noticed the 2 lines and I thought that was really good. And what I wish you had done at the end is make the ending more sudden, because what you say to us is an ending that is much too sudden. And because you've put much too, you've slowed the whole line down.
Yeah, it's true. It should have just been too sudden.
Yeah, or even something even more sudden than sudden, because that's still 2 syllables. Something like an ending that is a full stop or something. See what I mean? So So it's kind of like you nearly did a cut off to us, but you didn't quite.
Yeah, it leads up to it too much for it to be sudden. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's good.
He suddens its suddenness. I loved the language in this, though. I really liked things like the toast warm souls and the honey light and the cotton soft tremble and that whole thing that you're building up of a sense of comfortableness and safety and comfort. Just works really well. And I think so. I'm glad that you explained what it was about, because what I had actually taken it to be was when you said about dark spots and patio slabs and scans of her body. So patio slabs just made me think of murder and someone being buried under the patio.
Oh, the Brookside effect.
Exactly. Patio equals murder. And I don't think I would have been alone in that as a reader or an audience. I honestly don't think that would have been just me. But I can now see that it's actually, is it that sense of, when the patio's kind of not cleaned and it's rained and there's a general sense of neglect sort of thing. Yeah. I suspect you could just have slightly tightened that up, so we definitely have that actually. But I haven't been very brutal after all, have I? Really, I've probably just given some constructive criticism. But I did, really liked this, and I think with a couple of those rethinkings, it could have been maybe moved from quite good to really good.
Yeah. Thanks, Kate. That's good. No, they're really good. That's really good feedback.
It was good, that, John.
Damn, I should have called. You should have called you before we.
We should have got the feedback before we submitted them for the competition, shouldn't we?
That would have been a good idea, actually.
That was stupid.
Oh well.
Next time. Thank you, Kate.
Welcome.
That was very lovely of you.
Enjoyed it. It was good. Right, who's next? But I think there's less cancer and death in these other ones, so we might be able to be a bit harsher.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go next, because mine's kind of the opposite of that. Because I also tried to follow your advice of writing about something to which I had a real sort of passionate connection and that I felt strongly about. But I think I've mentioned before, I can't think of anything that I actually feel passionate about in any way. I'm kind of sort of dead inside. So I tried to think of something that, like, at some point has made me angry. And I just sort of started thinking about sort of fake news and conspiracy theories. So that's where this came from. And it's called The Anatomy of Opinion. Our anatomy contains an interesting feature analogous to an opinion. But those features, whether bleached, mephitic, or hirsute, are not Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Absolute truth is not made flesh through cardiac desire. Yes, question the value of the visage, seek full disclosure. But a thumb-swiped algorithm is not primary research. Perhaps, therefore, we should put more trust in the holes that we have two of.
Ooh. Now, I reckon most listeners or readers of that would probably need to hear it twice or read it twice. But I think we'll maybe not give them that chance. That's what rewind buttons are for.
Yeah, press rewind now if you want to hear that again.
Okay, so Dave, right. For me, this is definitely the most interesting piece, I think, of the four I read. And does... Yes.
Take that. Let's just stop there. There we go. Tom,
and it does do them. No, I think we should go on, Dave, for there is so much more to say.
Right.
It does kind of do the most, as in, there's a lot going on, but I think it does it slightly more confusingly than it needs to, although I did enjoy how there was a lot going on under the surface.
Yeah.
And I think, I know poetry is often seen as obscure and we often kind of read it and go, oh, what was that? And then we have to read it again. And that's maybe good because it slows our attention process down and it makes us really focus. But I think you got into a bit of a almost giving us some crossword clues zone.
When we talked about this before, I did say, didn't I, that I disappeared up my own arse for a while. Wasn't I think that's exactly what happened.
But again, that made it interesting. So I'm going to go through it and let's see if some of the things that I thought were right. Okay. So when at first you say, our anatomy contains an interesting feature analogous to an opinion. So are we talking about face and face value, I'm presuming? Right?
No.
Oh.
That's a reworking of the line, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one.
We see. Oh, that's really hence why bleached, mephitic, or hirsute. I see.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say...
Do you even know anything about poetry, Kate? I mean, come on. It's your classic arsehole opening stanza.
Of course.
Isn't it? I mean, if anything, it's overused. Unbelievable.
I can't believe I missed it,
It was staring you right in the eye.
I think we needed a bigger clue, Dave, because I'm a really good reader. So we needed a bigger, and actually we could have had a little maybe the title could have given us more of a clue. But of course...
Maybe a little drawing.
Maybe a drawing, indeed. But now it does make sense of... so I loved that I had to look up a word, mephitic. I'm guessing that most people don't know what mephitic means. Tom, John, unless you've already heard or known mephitic.
It's like stinky. I think it means stinky.
Yeah, basically stinky. It did. And technically, apparently, if you put bleach and ammonia together, you get mephitic gas. So I've learned something. So I'm happy that I've learned it.
I had to look that up as well.
Did you? In order to find the word. But you've given us, first stanza, an interesting feature. Second stanza refers to multiple features, those features. I don't know if that was on purpose. And then we get Matthew, Mark, and Luke. I like that they're so gospel and not gospel. Is that right? Are we?
Yes.
Yeah. very distracting, however, that you've missed out one of the Gospels. So unless there's a reason, did you miss out, John, on purpose?
I did. I didn't.
He's always missing me out.
I couldn't fit it in. Yeah.
That's because I suppose as a reader, you're just like going, maybe there's a reason he's left John out. Is John important? And then we're distracted because we just need to move on to the next bit. But still, we've had nice words and it's been interesting. but we've gone down diversions. And to be honest, we've only got 18 lines, so we need not to be diverting too much in these 18 lines.
Get to the point, Dave.
Exactly. But I like absolute truth is not made flesh through cardiac desire. Nice. Cardiac desire is just a great phrase. And then yes, question the value of the visage, seek full disclosure. Lovely. Thumb swiped algorithm is not primary research, which could also have been about Tinder. I thought this was about people maybe swiping left on Tinder and ignoring people just on the basis of what they look like. See what I mean? So it all could work as both things. Now, the last stanza, I kind of like it, kind of hate it. I just don't know where I come down on it. And perhaps therefore we should put more trust in the holes that we have two of.
Yeah.
In one way, in the holes that we have two of, it's a horrible line. It's clumsy. It's and it could refer to so many things. On the other hand, it's still quite clever in the spirit of the whole thing. So yeah, I'm left interested.
That's
mildly repulsed.
That's where we started, isn't it? With interesting.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day
in fact, do you know what I overall was? The thing I most was about the anatomy of opinion, which is maybe ironic given that it's about opinions. I was left ambivalent.
Well.
Which is exactly what Dave was trying to do. That was his...
Yes.
Well done, Dave. Very clever. Very clever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, thanks, Kate. That's very informative.
Okay. Tom, are you ready?
I don't really want to read mine now.
You mentioned 4 poems before, Kate. Does that mean that... Oh, you did 2, didn't you, Tom? I remember now.
Bloody 2, didn't he?
I did 2. And I tried to do... Yeah, because back to the thing about write something you care about. I don't really care about anything like Dave. So I tried to write just something that was kind of lighter and a bit more fun, just around I quite like in poet, like just taking a little concept and just expanding it out. That's just kind of a throwaway concept. So I did one like that, and then tried one that was maybe a bit deeper about sort of a midlife crisis kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know where to start. Really,
read the first line out.
I don't want Kate to tell me because that might give me a clue about which is terrible. But let's start with a frivolous one first.
Yeah,
which is called Your Superpower. So you understand how this is going to work with your new superpower. You get a magic that defies anything science can throw its way, at your fingertips. But of course, there's always a bit of a catch or a little bump in the road. It's rather awkward actually, but you don't get to choose the superpower you get. And I'm afraid yours has already been allocated. There's no turning back. Sorry, but I do hope you enjoy being able to turn swimming pool water into custard.
Oh. See, do you know what? I enjoyed that loads more because you read it.
Right.
And not that I didn't enjoy reading it, I did. But it works even better in performance, I think, because we get more of the ridiculousness.
It often does. Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of poetry works like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially funny poetry.
Yeah, I think delivery is a large part of comedy, full stop, anyway, isn't it? So I think it's inevitable.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you managed to do that sublime to the ridiculous thing, and in the reading of it, in the sort of build.
It's actually
quite intense, and then
and that's a good point, John, because maybe that was the only thing lacking in the poem itself. We could have had a bit more of that build-up because Tom gave us it in his tone in the reading, but we didn't get quite as much of it.
So taking it to a more higher pitched degree before just delivering the flatness
to bring us down. Yeah, because so often comedy, as you all well know, it works. The greater the contrast that you've got, really, and the greater the level of exaggeration. And actually, because in that, so for example, in the second stanza, so you had probably a surplus line that you could have done something else with. So you get a magic that defies anything science can throw its way, fine. And then at your fingertips, and at your fingertips doesn't really give us anything more, whereas if you could have chosen that bit of the sentence to take us up, I suppose. Anything science can throw its way, defying all laws of being or whatever, to throw us up. And then the same with the next stanza, because you had, but of course there's always a bit of a catch, or a little bump in the road. So you just used a different way of saying a bit of a catch to say a little bump in the road. But again, you could have used that bit to take us up, because in poetry, you've got so few words, you need to make the best use of all of them to underlie each one, basically. So I might end up having to change my rankings and ratings.
Can I just say, though, I'd love that superpower. It is the greatest edible substance on earth. Why would you not want to be able to do that?
I think it would be hilarious as well, just going to the swimming pool, wouldn't it?
There'd be a lot of dead people at the bottom of the custard. That'd be the only problem.
No, but you do it like you go like to, maybe you get tickets. Imagine how happy you'd be when you got tickets to the Olympic diving final.
Check this out, guys.
Here we go.
On the other hand, though, you've got kids to say, "Mum, there's a plaster in my trifle." And that is God.
Veruca trifle, yeah.
But I did think I like the concept of, when there's like the X-Men and stuff where they all have this power of like being able to control whatever it is and bend around. And that was all based around like genetic quirks that give people these superpowers. And I always thought there must be other people that had genetic quirks and superpowers whose superpowers were just really naff.
Utterly useless. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a children's book in the making, isn't it, actually? With the nasty
superpowers.
Yeah, definitely. But would you be able to technically still dive into custard? Would it be more dangerous? What would happen to Tom Daly if he dived into custard, actually?
Depends if it had a skin on it or not, wouldn't it?
Good point.
Yeah, or how thick it was. I mean, custard can be. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Is it a creme anglaise?
Yeah.
Is it
too much corn flour in it?
I mean, if you do it in a French swimming pool, does it end up being a creme brulee and you've got like a sugary hard top on it that you need to crack through? Maybe you could skate on that. I don't know. It could go anywhere, really.
Yeah, this is opening up a lot of possibilities, isn't it? This poem.
It is, but I mean, just to clarify, it is make believe. People don't have custody superpowers, so it's probably not going. It's probably not something we need to worry about on a daily basis in terms of.
Okay, poem 2 then.
Poem 2. Midlife slump. I've lost a hairbrush somewhere. My keys have walked away again, and that favourite jumper has gone for good. But as my thoughts roll, I don't really care if these things never turn up again. I've lost much more, like my love of waking up and facing the day head on. I've lost the joy that is running full speed when you really don't need to, just to the shop on the corner. I've lost some of the best bits of me because I threw them away, thinking adults need to grow up. But now I know that growing up is growing down, sad and tired of the world. And it's the child inside that keeps us alive.
Oh, it's nice.
You see, it's in a way, it's like the opposite of Dave's poem. In the
Whoa, did you say Dave's was good or rubbish? I can't remember now.
Well, I was deeply ambivalent, if you remember.
How can you be the opposite of ambivalent?
Good point.
You really care about this?
What is the opposite of ambivalent? That's very good. So, I really like the start of it.
Cool. Anyway, so next week on the podcast. Thanks for coming on, Kate.
Once I realised there was no custard in it, I sort of lost
we
interest.
peaked with the custard. Nothing could top that, apart from
maybe some 100,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's the last stanza I have a problem with, and it's because it's to be fair, it's something that I will sometimes do in my poems. It turns into, instead of a poem, a Hallmark greetings card. And it's the cliche, and it's like a really good point. Yes, we in midlife we slump and we lose our life, and I love that specific detail. Actually, this is my favorite stanza. I've lost the joy that is running full speed when you really don't need to, just to the shop on the corner. That's lovely. Then your next stanza is fairly pointless because you just repeat that but without any detail. I've lost some of the best bits of me because I threw them away thinking adults need to grow up. Again, that probably needed another really good example of something else you used to do as a kid that you don't do now. Give us the images and the pictures, give us the sensory stuff. And then somehow, I don't know how you do it, because actually, like you will find in the rankings, despite the fact I'm being really harsh on this poem, I kind of overall liked it actually, but it's just, that last stanza, I wonder if there's a non-cliched way of saying, but now I know that growing up is growing down, which actually, that's nice, isn't it? Actually, now I say that, that's a nice line. Sad and tired of the world, and it's a child inside that keeps us alive. Is there a way of de-cliché?
Yeah, I think it's that last line, really, isn't it? Because you shouldn't really be... That's what the poem's about. You shouldn't really have to spell it out like that. Yeah. That should just be what you take away from the poem. It's that's almost a bit of a... So have you understood my poem? Because this is what it means.
Exactly.
You need a bit all that stuff. Because this. That may as well have just been the first stanza and last stanza in itself. Do you mean like a 5-line poem? Yeah. 5-word poem.
Or that could have even been the title rather than Midlife Slump, which again sort of tells us what you're already telling us. It could have been The Child Inside, could be your title, and then you could give us something a bit more surprising in the end. Because the subject matter of it, it's nice.
Maybe he's bringing around full circle that as well. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just freestyling here. But it'd be nice if you said, and yesterday I ran to the shop or something like that. As if you're just like going full belt back into the childhood.
Yeah, get to that point. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
And then even in that, and that's the miracle of poetry, actually, I think. And I love that you've introduced me to the Trivison. Thank you. Because I know some of the work of the poet who apparently invented this form, William Carlos Williams, but I'd never heard of the Trivison, and the idea that really it's just, so it's one sentence chopped into 3, isn't it? Across 6 separate stanzas. I think it's such a great form because it lends itself to being conversational, and probably, Tom, you were the most conversational in your use of it.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to use that in workshops in future.
It was quite an easy format. I don't know what you boys felt, but it was quite an easy format to write to in terms of whatever I wrote seemed to fit the right length of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, because the lines can be any length.
I don't quite know how that works.
As well, doesn't it?
It was like a good thing and a bad thing, because at a certain level, it is just 6 sentences that you can chop up into 3 parts in any way that you want.
Yeah.
But there's something about that made me think, oh no, I've got to do something a bit more than that, which is probably why I went over the top. But yeah, good and bad.
Yeah, but I honestly, actually, I really enjoyed getting to read these. So thank you very much. And
you're very welcome.
Well, thank you ever so much, and thank you for your honesty as well. It's nice.
He said, as his shredded writerly self. I don't know if I can do the rankings now, though. I've honestly changed my mind.
I reckon like 4 joint fourths is what I'm imagining.
Let's be a bit more positive. 4 joint seconds.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
If you had to pick one of them, though.
Honestly, it's because it has changed after we've talked them through. If I had to pick one now, as long as it was going to be read out as well, and so this means it has actually moved from 4th in the rankings to 1st. It would.
Well, this is exciting.
Well, hang on a minute. This seems like this could be up for
really
question, couldn't
if
it?
the chair of the Booker Prizes was like, oh, to be honest, this book wasn't even in my long list, but then I heard the audio book and now it's won.
For the last 9 months, I thought this was shit, but now, do you know what? You get the prize.
It's that sort of turnaround. But my winner at the moment is Your Superpower by Tom.
Well, I can't argue with Custard. I really can't.
There was a moment, Dave, where The Anatomy of Opinion was winning.
Was that before I mentioned arsehole?
Exactly. Before I didn't get arseholes and felt, like I should have.
Think, this is a poem about nice, pretty faces. That's my favourite.
Only Dave could talk himself out a top spot by.
It's all about
No. It's about arseholes. Shut up, Dave. You've won. No. It's about arseholes.
I just want to confirm with you, Kate, there was no point at all in any of your sort of debating where I was top.
There was no point indeed, John. Okay. At no point were you ever top.
Although on the plus side, John, yours was actually in 5th until mine moved out of 4th to go top. So you have moved up a place there. That's good. Kate, I'm not just saying it because I won and I'm the winner. and I'm victorious.
Oh,
but
God.
that was brilliant. That was
it
was actually
lovely.
quite nerve-wracking. I mean, we know that you are lovely, but apart from when you make 3-year-olds cry about the word. But there was a little element of nerves. It's always putting something out there. It doesn't matter where you're doing it, does it? There is a vulnerability and an exposure to it, which is kind of exciting, nervy at the same time.
Yeah, especially with a form that you're not entirely comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Oh, well, honestly, it was a pleasure.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for taking the time to ruin us.
Very welcome.
Lovely.
All right,
Thanks,
take care,
Kate. Take
all
care.
then. Bye.
Cheers, Kate. Bye.
So how are you feeling now, John? Now that's been done, you went in there quite confident.
Yeah.
You got that knocked out of
It
you.
was a good poem, to be fair.
I did. I got a strong impression that Kate was already a little bit ambivalent about my poem, but once she found out it wasn't about murder, then any remaining interest did seem to wane, didn't it?
I have to say, I was a big fan of your last stanza using 2 lines rather than 3.
Oh, thanks, man.
The
Yeah.
silent
twisting the form there.
the silent line.
Yeah,
That was very
that
clever.
was the
Very
highlight
clever.
probably of the poem.
A bit arrogant, to be honest, in the first time you've ever written in this format.
Subvert it.
to rip up the rule book. But, yeah.
Well,
That's fine.
But it was
That's
a
fine.
solid
Play around
performance
a bit,
there,
haven't
John. I like you were consistently not winning all the way through. And
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
whereas I'd experienced the highs of being told that I was, in first place, and then having it taken away at the last minute.
I've got a bit of a confession, actually. Kate
What is?
asked me, so are the blots on the patio, are they like the moss and the dirt on the patio because no one's cleaned it for a while?
Yeah.
And I heard myself just say, yeah, but that wasn't true.
Really?
That wasn't true at all.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
What was it?
It didn't mean that. I just said that because I didn't want her to think that my writing was so obscure that I'd sent her down a completely wrong path. And that wasn't what the blots on the patio were at all. What
were they then?
I was referring back to the cold front approaching. That life, you see, was going from sunshine and warmth to this horrible.
I thought it was rain.
Oh, thank God for that. Anyway,
I thought it was. When you get big rain.
Yeah, that's it. It was big rain.
On a summer's day or something when it's.
Yeah, exactly.
Fat
like
rain.
the beginning of a proper storm.
Big blotches of rain just
That
coming.
was it, exactly. And I wanted to sort of give
I didn't
this impression of this cold front coming and these big blots of rain and everything's
Almost
about
like
to change.
metaphorical tears of
That's
the world.
it, exactly. But then I was suddenly afraid that the analogy was really horribly trite and cliched. So I just went, yeah, that's right, Kate. Whatever you thought, Kate, that's right, yeah.
I was with Kate. I had an image of a jet washer gathering cobwebs in a shed.
Anyway, I'm a little bit embarrassed about that.
Can we get her back on?
Yeah.
To revise
Sorry,
the
Kate,
scores?
I lied to you. I said yeah. When it wasn't true.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? It can mean different. It doesn't have to mean what the writer meant it to mean.
Well,
it can
I
mean
think-
different
I think
things on a sliding scale to different people.
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that.
Despite what our English teachers always
Yeah.
told us at school.
think the
No,
moral
that's what the author was thinking.
Yeah.
I think the moral of the story is to never
Don't write poetry.
Don't write poetry, but B, if you do, don't
show it to anyone.
don't own up to lying
Yeah.
about it.
Keep it
Just
under
say,
your
yeah,
bed.
that's what
We
it
should
was.
have learned that from our early episodes.
Do you think we should take Kate's excellent feedback and rewrite them? Have I gone mental?
Yeah, a little bit.
Should
No,
we
I
do
think
that?
It's
That
more
is
about. I
act-
think it's
that
more
is
about
mental.
taking that for the future, isn't it? Next time, because I think there was
All
kind
right,
of some
yeah,
simple
okay.
things where we should have known from our writing history, really, of just kind of chopping down a bit through.
Yeah,
some of the
no,
depths.
it's true.
Yeah.
As she was saying some of it, I was thinking, oh God, I was thinking that when I actually read it out.
Yeah,
I
and I
know.
think maybe some of it we got a little bit lazy in places because of we did it in that hour, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
We kind of did it in a
yes.
very tight
That's
space.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We
we
probably
didn't
should
really
have.
give ourselves the time to go back and just kind of
no, that's true.
shape and kind of edit properly.
Yeah,
It was
there
kind
has
of,
been
they were
a-
very fresh as they came out.
There's been an element of that'll do in most of the things that we've done on this podcast, hasn't there?
A little bit, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe that's that's what's holding us back here.
Or maybe we don't rewrite them. I was going to say we stick them on the blog. We rewrite them, stick them on the blog. But maybe if you lovely listeners fancy having a go, it's a really nice form to write in, the Triverson.
The Triverson, yes. Yeah, if you fancy having a go at a Triverson.
We would love to hear your Triversons. It's not too restricting, is it? Because it's quite, feels quite free.
They come out very, I think I said before, they come out really... They seem to fit the format.
Yeah, and they're not too fancy-pantsy. They're not. It's not like you've got to get your iambic pentameter or anything like that. It is simply 6 stanzas of 3 lines. So send us your efforts, and we'll post them up on the blog. Maybe read them out.
Yeah,
we can horribly misinterpret them, and then read them out, and then you can get in touch and tell us what they really meant.
That'd be great. Actually, that would be quite good fun.
But also, there's something else that we want people to send us, isn't there, John?
Oh, yes. This is a possible brand new feature that we're planning, but it only works if our listeners are willing to put themselves out a little bit.
Yep.
So we haven't quite decided on a name for it yet, but it's a way of giving back a bit of love to you, our listeners, and the creative community at large. And basically... we want you to tell us about your book, okay? So we want you to pitch your book to us and give us a reason why we should go out and buy it. And that's it, really. But there's a little twisteroo.
There's always a twist.
There's always a little twist with the failing writers. You've only got 30 seconds. Exactly.
Exactly 30 seconds.
So if you record a voice memo and send it to failingwriterspodcast@gmail.com, your book could feature on the very next episode of the show. So give it a go. Give it a go. I think it'll be quite fun. It'll be nice to hear from you as well.
Maybe it would be good if we gave like an example of how that would work. John, maybe you could do a pitch for your book that you haven't written any of yet. That might actually help spur you on to get it to do it. Give us a 30-second pitch for your book. In fact, do it right now.
Okay. Here we go.
If you want to advertise your book for free, we've got a cheeky little feature that you need to see. Just send a pithy pitch of your book to me, a voice memo of 30 seconds exactly. But we couldn't agree on what its name should be, so now we're gonna call it something different every week. And this week, we're gonna call it...
What the book is that?
Hello, my name's John Rand, and my book is called The Order. It's about a detective with socialist leanings who investigates a really sick-makingly horrific murder at an exclusive private school as his suspicions begin to collide with some bizarre online conspiracy theorists. The closer he seems to get to finding the killer, the more dangerous his job becomes until he appears to uncover a secret plot with consequences so far-reaching for society and the safety of his colleagues that he must unravel the mystery in time to save his partner. Or will his ideology cloud his judgment?
Right, well, brilliant. That sounds rubbish, that, mate.
I wouldn't buy that one. So if you think your book is better than that...
After all.
Your book's better than that, let us know. 30 seconds.
And you can get in touch with us for any reason. You can just send us a nice review or say hello or say, whatever. And you can leave us a review as well.
You just say that. You can send us a review, write us a review.
I mean, don't make it sound like we're too desperate for reviews, dear. We've got some good reviews already.
Nice reviews.
If you want to leave a review, leave a review. If you don't, fine, whatever. But please still leave a review.
I was just trying to be professional.
Sounded a little bit like that, Dave.
Yeah.
Or
it's up to you. Totally up to you.
Yeah.
But do leave us a review.
Yep.
Or leave a review of the review leaving process. If you find the process of leaving us a review good, why not leave us a review?
So, chaps, what have we got coming up?
Coming up in the following weeks. Next week is an interview with Tim Glister, first-time debut author.
Or Mr. Glister, as I like to call it.
Did that come out of the name generator as well? Yeah. And making an obscure reference to a previous episode that most people won't have heard, we find out whether he's got an ostrich feather umbrella or not. Yeah? You see what I mean? Because he's a spy writer. So it's all kind of like 1960s Cold War spy era stuff.
It is exciting stuff.
Yeah, and we have a nice, interesting
proper
chat.
espionage
And then
stuff.
coming up after that, we got Andy Stanton, John's children's writer hero.
Yeah.
That John stalked and managed to scare him onto coming onto the podcast.
Dave, can we have the klaxon for that one, please?
There you go. There's a klaxon.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff. Oh, and I mean, we've got that BAFTA award-winning screenwriter. Don't want to go on about it, do we?
BAFTA here, a BAFTA there. She's got BAFTAs everywhere.
Shows all over the BBC and ITV, and I think she's doing something for Disney Channel. Is it Disney Channel? I've heard of that, I think.
Disney
Some
Plus,
TV
yeah, Disney
thing.
Plus.
Yeah, for Disney.
So, we've got a nice little interview with Sally Wainwright coming up. And lots of other bits and bobs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you better get subscribed, hadn't you? Otherwise you might miss.
Unless all that sounds like
right?
rubbish and not your sort of thing, then don't. I would don't find something else to listen to.
Give the next few weeks a
a
miss.
bit like that. Do you remember that kids program that used to be on? Why don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go
Why
switch
don't
off
you
your television
switch off your
set.
TV and go do something better instead, or something like that? Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
It was.
I was just like, whoa.
You're telling me to
It
switch?
was like before Darren Brown, wasn't it? What mind games? And then it was, from my memory, it was always like some kids in a youth club in Northern Ireland making things out of boxes.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
So here you go now. This is how you do this. Get a shoe
Why
box.
don't you? Why don't you?
Yeah, what's weird about that, though, is that if you did actually turn off your TV, you would, of course, preclude yourself from watching the programme that told you to turn off the TV in the first place. So you'd never know to turn off your TV because you didn't have your TV on in the first place. So you'd have to turn it off, turn it back on again to know whether to turn off the TV.
And then you turn it back on again to know what to do next.
Yeah.
What else we've got coming up is further updates on our NaNoWRIMO books. And hopefully, by this time next week, you lot will have got some words done.
We'll be flying, mate. We'll be absolutely flying.
Yeah.
I'll be coming on. You'll be like, what you been writing this week? I go, I can't speak. My fingers hurt too much. The end of my fingers are really hurting.
But if you're doing NaNoWRIMO as well, get in touch with us. Let us know how it's going. And why not leave a review whilst you're at it?
Oh, God, if no one leaves a review for Dave now, please, somebody leave a review.
Come on.
Otherwise, it's just,
Every single week it's going to be like this, isn't it?
I'll just keep asking.
Yeah. Right, we should probably shut up and leave these people to crack on with their day now.
Why don't you turn off this podcast and do something more interesting instead? Which kind of leaves it open, because that's quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, good idea.
Well, I mean, some of them might have already done that, but yeah.
I think most of them would have done, yeah.
Do you know what we could do? We could just do it like a really slow fade, like a sort of 70s prog rock song. Just slowly fade out this conversation.
Just like one of those really long tracks from one of the experimental albums.
Yeah.
Be like our Hey Jude.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I was thinking more like, some of the Pink Floyd stuff, that kind of real, like, that just kind of goes around in little circles and is all kind of.
Yeah. Do you think we've faded out by now? Or do you think?
No, I think we're probably still going to.
Just very quietly be able to hear us if you really turn us up loud.
But people might be having to turn the volume up now, thinking it's just gone quiet.
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah. And then when they go to switch the next program on, it'll be ridiculously loud.
Although with my earphones, I can't get them that loud though. Are yours like that? They've got like a cut off, so you can't get loud enough. Do yours do that?
Is that
my iPhone?
That's an iPhone thing.
Keeps turning my volume down all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not fair because I use it and have like a speaker under my pillow to listen to the radio sometimes. So it thinks I'm blaring it out. I'm not. I'm just trying to hear it through a pillow. So obviously it's quieter. But there's no way to turn it off.
It's annoying.
The world's gone mad.
Safety gone mad.
It really is.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really is.
Are we coming back up with the volume now, do you think?
I think people need to hear this, yeah. Yeah.
This is important.
I've got a good question for you. I was thinking about this the other day when I was on a run, and I've told Dave before, and I'll tell you how good this idea is. As soon as I say it, Dave will go, oh yeah, I remember you saying that 15 years ago, Tom. That's still a brilliant idea. Right.
I think I know what you're going to say already.
Dave, share my idea. And everyone will go, why doesn't that happen? We should start a petition.
Is it to make some sort of distinguishing difference between an indicator light and a hazard warning light?
Yes. So that, if you put your indicator on, it flashes at the same interval as if you put your hazard warning lights on.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
So if you're driving down a busy street and there's a truck with its hazard warning lights on, but you can't see the inside light on the pavement side.
Is it pulling out?
It just looks like he wants to pull out.
Yeah, it's true.
But if it blinked faster
it's very
or slower, why has that not happened?
No money in it, Tom. That's why. No money in it.
That'd be so easy to do as well, wouldn't it?
That could probably save a cyclist's life or something. Do you mean that will save something going wrong on the road.
That would save literally hundreds of people sitting there going, "Come on, pull out then! Oh, for Christ's sake, bloody hell!" That's a bit of your life you'll never get back.
It's a great line to end on.
Much like this.
I think we end on that line, Birdie. Right, that's absolutely nailed it.
Hello.
Where's everybody gone? When I was a kid, I only had one imaginary friend, and he only lasted for a few days. But his name
got sick of you.
Yeah, he ran away. He was called Charles.
He was called Bobby Brown.
No, he was called Charlie Charles.
Of course he was. Charlie McCharles face.
Charles Charlie Charles. Yeah, that's my friend I took on holiday. And then just left him there. Didn't really get on. Trust me to imagine a friend that I didn't really like.